before, my name is Diane Cant. I'm a registered nurse for longer than I was ever not a registered nurse now. So I have done quite a few clinical specialties, but emergency and critical care most recently, and I teach nursing now full-time. And I'm here today with Craig Stellpflug. We'll be taking the second half of our discussion today. Craig is a retired now, but traditional naturopath, and also a nutritionist, and a specialist in childhood neurodevelopment. So I'm glad to share the floor with Craig, and we're doing different health topics every month. So this time I've been looking forward to this one. We're going to talk about wellness wearables, what works, what's worth it. So, and then some of the pros and cons of those wellness wearables. So I think the first wellness wearable came out a whole long time ago. Remember the mood rings? Right? So I don't know if it was ever all that accurate. I'm typically chilly all the time, so my mood was always black.
Wow.
So, yep, it all went on skin temperature. So probably didn't really accurately reflect your mood, but it was pretty fun to start some conversations about your feelings and your emotions. So maybe probably had some enjoyment in that. And it's probably the cheapest wearable that you can find. You can get them probably for as little as $10, and no subscription is required.
Awesome.
That's sweet.
So absolutely. So then another one that is useful actually is just a simple pedometer. All it does is count your steps. So we know that getting in walking steps or running steps makes a huge difference in our health. For a long time there, they were saying, oh, a minimum of 10,000 steps a day. So finally somebody did some research on that, and what they found was that 10,000 steps a day is actually not necessary in order to get the benefit of some better glycemic control, and also to prevent all-cause death. So it turns out that somewhere around 7,500 or 7,800 steps a day is sufficient for doing that. But you don't know how many steps you have unless you count them, right? So some of them can, a lot of times our phones have a health, a step counter right in there. So if you're like me and your phone pretty much goes wherever you go, it'll count that for you. You can get just simple ones that'll fit right on your shoe, like into your shoelaces, and that just counts your steps. It won't talk with your phone or anything like that. Those are inexpensive, and certainly if you remember to put them on, it'll tell you some good information. I have a friend who trains at the gym, and she counts her steps with just one of these little simple pedometers, and she keeps it on her shoelaces, but she doesn't tie it into her shoelaces, so the thing falls off every now and then, and she gets so frustrated because it's the same color as the floor. So we have to go on the search for the pedometer every now and then. Welcome for being here. Hey, grab some lunch.
Okay, thank you.
You're in perfect timing because I got ahead of myself. We haven't prayed yet over our food, so when you sit, then we'll pray.
I have a couple of friends coming. They're not quite here yet, though.
Okay, that's fine. That is fine. So it's never too late to pray, even when we don't do it at the very beginning. So
Amen.
we'll catch up on that, right? So, dear Lord God, you are the giver of all good things, and this is such a good thing. We thank you for the opportunity to get together today to talk about stewarding good health. We thank you for our lunch today provided by Gap Ministries. We ask you to bless the food and bless the hands that made it. Bless our bodies, Lord, and teach us what we need to know to help us maintain the temple that you have provided us. And we ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen. So, yeah, so does anybody use a tracker for your steps?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? What kind do you use?
I have a Fitbit, and also I could use the one on my phone whenever I
Okay.
feel like it. It's called Map My Run.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I like that one.
So, yeah, that's a free app, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
even though I walk, it's a Map My Run.
nice. Nice.
I used to use a Fitbit when I worked at TMC.
Okay,
It was cool,
yeah?
yeah.
How many steps would you get in a day?
I think I walk 5 miles a day.
Okay,
How
wow.
many steps is that?
That's probably about almost 1,000.
Yeah, running up and down the different flights, so, yeah. I was a warehouse guy, so.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. So, anybody else use one? Do you? You use your phone, Mark? Yeah.
On the phone.
You have yours on your phone too? Okay, good. Yeah, I use a Fitbit, and it talks with my phone. I got the subscription because I like the data to talk to each other. So.
Which one are they on now? Because I know I had a Fitbit 1.
So this one is an Inspire 3.
Okay?
So, and they're less expensive than some of the smartwatches. So, you can also get a tracker that's just a basic heart rate monitor. So a couple of different kinds of those. Wear them on your wrists. There's places that make them. Hey, welcome. That make them to wear around your upper arm. There's even ones that can.
It's all right, we all did it.
Yeah, exactly. There's even some heart rate monitors that fit around your chest that you can wear just during exercise, and those are useful for if you're trying to keep in a specific heart rate zone. Okay, so.
Don't the iWatches boast of that, being able to do all the walking steps, I mean?
Yeah, a lot of them will do multiple things, so, right. Yeah, so the average cost of a basic heart rate monitor, anywhere from about $40 to $100. Typically no subscription required for those. So they might help you exercise more safely if you're somebody who shouldn't let their heart rate get too high. So, and usually what they say is the fat burning exercise, they recommend zone 2. So the way you figure out what should your heart rate be is you start at 220 and subtract your age, and then take 60 to 70% of that. So I have my calculator here, so if anybody needs help figuring that out, you can.
That should be your what?
That would be your fat burning zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the percentage?
So you start with 220 and subtract your age, and that is 60 to 70% of that number. Yeah. Yeah. And then we've got our wearable devices. We talked a little bit about Fitbit already, which can be a tracker for your steps. Different Fitbits can also, like this one monitors my heart rate while I'm sleeping. It thinks it can monitor my respiratory rate. I'm not sure how it does that. It monitors oxygen level.
Does it alarm?
Does it
Can you
alarm?
set alarms?
I don't believe so. It will when it's measuring heart rate, it will tell me if I'm in like a vigorous type of exercise mode. So when it gets up to a certain amount, it'll buzz. When I hit my 8,000 steps for the day, it bzz, bzz, bzz. That's like a celebratory buzz. Yeah. So it'll tell you lots of different things. So you can get them for free, which will do a lot of, it'll tell you your heart rate and your steps, or you can also use a subscription to an app. So there is a free app that'll tell you the things that your Fitbit is seeing on your phone, or you can get a subscription, which will tell you more. So what that might do is, the subscription level, like I also use an app called Chronometer to kind of track, what they call macros. So how many grams of protein, carbs, and fat. And my Fitbit will put my exercise straight into Chronometer, so that I can set up my goals. And I've set up my goals for a number of calories per day, but then Fitbit will go ahead and put my exercise calories spent into that app, and then I can see whether I'm in an excess or deficit for eating that day. So it's kind of cool. Smart watches, like the Apple Watch or the Garmin watch, will do the same thing. Steve's like, yep, I got all that. I think the Apple Watch can actually read your mind.
Well, my Apple Watch actually did an EKG on me.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I printed it out and everything. It was an official looking EKG.
Mhm. Yeah, we're gonna talk about those today as well, but yeah, those Apple Watches have so much functionality now, and I see recently something just popped up on a social media feed that there's, it can check blood pressure now. I don't know how accurate it actually is, but, yeah, I don't think it really pumps up on your arm or anything like that, so I'm interested in finding out a little bit more how that works. Yeah. So, let's see. So, the pro of a smartwatch is you get all-in-one tracking. So you get to tell your time, is you get everything that I just described on this Fitbit, talking back and forth with my phone. Plus, you can see who's calling you, and you can see your text messages, and you can see your calendar.
It tells me when to stand up.
Yeah, exactly,
It's
right?
like it's time to stand. I'm like,
So,
why?
yeah, I think
I'm
the
driving.
smartwatch can actually clock your bowel movements probably. Just teasing. Just teasing.
Yeah.
So what's the con of something like a smartwatch?
$500.
So that's a con, right? So yeah, they run several $100. I think your lower level Apple Watch now costs, I believe it's around 300,
Yeah.
and the high ones are over 500. So that can be a chunk of change, and possibly a detriment for some. And then you have to have, typically you have some sort of subscription with it as well. So that can be an extra $6 to $10 a month, which is not a ton, but if you're paying $10 a month, that's an extra $120 a year to get the information off of your watch that already costs you $500, right? The con is also that there can be overstimulation with the whole thing, and by the time you get your alarms for your activity, and you're also getting your text messages and your phone calls and all of that, it can be a little overwhelming. Yeah. So the fitness bands, like this would be a fitness, they would consider this a fitness band. Similar, they're less expensive for sure, and you don't get all of those things talking together in one spot. So this can be a little bit annoying because it will give me a little buzz every hour if I haven't moved. So if I haven't had 250 steps in an hour, it'll be buzzing me. So not at night, but during the day. So I find that annoying. So that's a con for me, but especially when I'm sitting and I'm trying to grade or I need to be focused on something, I find that to be annoying, but not everybody does. And if I wasn't in the middle of doing something, possibly I would take that as a cue to, okay, get up and take a little walk, which I probably need to more often if I'm sitting there for hours looking at email and grading. So, but that's...
Are you going to talk about sleep trackers later, Di? sleep trackers?
Yeah, we can talk about that. It's the wearables or your Apple Watch that would track your sleep now.
I was wondering if they were accurate.
So,
How do they know? Yeah,
I think that they're reasonably accurate in terms of, like, it can typically tell whether you're awake
right,
or whether you're not. So the,
right. Yeah, like if I move my arm over my body, you know, I mean, does it think I'm awake then after that? I mean,
so, well, my Fitbit tracks my sleep. So I can tell you, I did not sleep well last night. So I kind of come around and tell you. So it thinks that it can tell me my sleep stages. So it'll track whether it thinks that I'm totally awake in REM sleep, which
Yep.
would be the rapid eye movement sleep, a light sleep, or a deep sleep. So I went to bed last night at 9:58. I woke up at 5:53. So it tells me,
wow,
it's kind of amazing how you get
that's
that.
better than I slept.
So, well, it tells me I spent 7 hours and 55 minutes in bed with a sleep efficiency of 79%, which is lower than my typical range. So I was awake, totally awake, 1 hour and 41 minutes of that. REM for only 57 minutes, light sleep for 4 hours and 31 minutes, and deep sleep for only 45 minutes last night, which is not great for me.
They gotta be doing it by heart rate or something, right?
Yeah, they do it with heart rate, oxygen saturation, all of that. So the problem with that is that when it detects that I haven't slept well, it will also calculate something called a readiness scale, which would be how ready am I to exercise today. So out of 100, my readiness scale only read 27, which says to me, hey, it's lower than usual, welcome.
Sorry, I'm always late.
Come on in, you're good. So it gave me this readiness score that said, hey, you probably need to take it easy today, right? So it kind of discouraged me from exercising this
Yeah,
morning.
I always get mine mad because it tells me to go to bed at 9 and I say no.
Yeah.
Diane, I just want to say, I win. I had a sleep score of 81. Just wanna
Oh,
let you know.
that's excellent. You know, it is kind of funny because
Well, you take melatonin, don't you? No.
I get a little attached to what my sleep score is. Like I like to look, and it doesn't really matter how I feel. I still like to see what it tells me my sleep score
Yeah, me
is,
too.
right?
I got the same thing.
So yeah, but I don't decide whether or not to work out or exercise based on my readiness scale. So I don't. I go work out anyways.
Well, I
typically.
see something now, I text Keith to say, hey Keith, can you help me such and such? And he's checking his readiness score.
Right?
That's what he's
Great
doing.
point, Greg. I'm sorry I'm not able to. My phone says no.
My readiness score says I have to take it easy today. Right? So that's a con of those things that track sleep. But I mean, it does. I don't know. It does make you a little bit more mindful of your sleep. And then I know that if I drink any wine before I go to bed, it impacts my negatively.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it does.
You
Like
would think it would do it better, you know?
Yeah, no, if I'm gonna have anything to drink, I usually have a glass of red wine.
Does wine have caffeine in it?
No, it doesn't have caffeine in it. However, as the red wine is metabolized, the metabolites they wake you up.
Oh.
So, and it keeps your heart rate higher and all of that. So, so it's nice it's decent to track something like that just so you know how different things impact you. So like maybe you like to scroll on your phone a little bit before you go to sleep at night. That blue light's probably going to impact your sleep. You'd be better off to read for the last hour before you go to bed than scroll on your phone because you'll sleep better. Comments? Questions? No? Okay. So there's also such a thing as a smart ring. Have you heard of the Aura rings?
Same, yeah.
So, yeah, they do the same thing, essentially, as the bands. You just wear it on your finger, it's very, you can get them in different colors, you can get them in like a obsidian black, they come in a silver, a gold, looks kind of like a thick wedding ring. And it'll tell you all the same information. Those are expensive. I believe an Aura ring costs typically $300 to $400. Yep. And I haven't seen very many knockoffs that are cheaper. Sometimes you can get a different brand that's a little bit cheaper. And then you can add on subscriptions to any of these wearables, your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, and your Aura ring, if that's what you do, and it will provide coaching in there. So if I decide that I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't have the car or whatever, if I look at my Fitbit app, it'll show me a workout I can do, or it will actually even, if I want it to, it can use generative AI, and it will make a workout for me based on whatever goals I tell it I have. So it's a little creepy in that way. I'm still learning about that, having a little bit of fun to see exactly what it says, but I'm sure that there's a lot of trainers out there right now that are a little worried about the generative AI, especially when you can put it along with a wearable, right? So I don't think your wearable can probably tell how much you're lifting, if you're lifting, or necessarily how many squats you do, but it will check your heart rate. So I happened to be on the rower for a little while this morning, and there was an assault bike there too, and it was like, great elliptical workout, Diane. So it couldn't really tell what I was doing, but it did pick up that I was doing something today. So kind of cool. What kind of questions do you have about that? Nothing?
Do those rings really work?
Do the what really work?
Do
The rings?
really
Yeah,
work?
they work as well as any, they're not perfect.
Like you said, it gets you mindful,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it does get you mindful, and like it's hard to change things that you don't track. Like, how do you see your improvement, or, that you're not on track for where you want to be? So that's one of the benefits of having the wearables.
So this is a little bit on the con side, I guess. I was just wondering, how much radiation from all these wearables and phones and watches?
I don't think, and Craig may be able to speak to it differently, I don't believe there's actual radiation, but it does create some sort of electromagnetic field. I don't know. I'm in nursing. I deal in humans, but I deal with humans mostly in the context of the medical. So I don't believe we've measured that at this point. I did read something about some police officer who ended up getting testicular cancer because he had the radar speedometer thing in his lap all the time. So electromagnetic fields probably impact us in some way, but I could not tell you how much this does and what this does.
The bigger the battery, the bigger the EM loads, electromagnetic frequencies.
You know?
So your cell phone and the batteries are getting more advanced, more and more, so this little battery will last like 4 times what they used to, but that's where your energy source is probably going to be the biggest factor. So a little tiny ring with a little battery, it's not going to be as much. Probably the bigger thing is if it's on one of your meridians. So like your heart meridian on your ring finger, and you're wearing a wearable, and you're having heart fibrillations, it could be related. I'm not saying everybody's going to be susceptible to it, but that is a whole nother meals.
Yeah,
You probably get more radiation going through the airport scanners, right?
I would say,
Yeah.
I would say. Or a CT scanner is a ton of radiation.
Yeah, I have one more question. What about these scales? You can stand on, get your weight,
So,
and the BMI shows up and all this stuff shows up.
yeah, I think that's on page 2,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, that's on page 2.
Okay, good,
So
I'm
we're
jumping
just
ahead,
gonna
I'm
talk
sorry.
about that a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
But you can talk about it. I mean,
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to jump ahead. I didn't look ahead. It was just interesting. I got one at home and, you know, BMI is one of those things I quite don't understand, BMI, so.
So BMI is not a great, we know that BMI is not a great measure
Okay.
anymore. So stands for body mass index. Doesn't really tell us what we want it to tell us. And the reason is it doesn't tell you whether that body mass index is fat or whether it's lean.
Oh,
And if your BMI can be great, like you can be skinny and fat. So meaning you can be skinny with no real lean mass, which just because your BMI is within range it's not a health indicator, right? And bodybuilders who are, who have a ton of muscle will read a very high BMI, indicating that they are unhealthy, even though they're very lean. So they do have some benefit, these analyzing scales, or sometimes you can even get like an in-body type of scale, which is like, that's thousands of dollars. But you can get a pretty sophisticated scale for 80 to 150, where you actually hold something in your hands. It has a you stand on it and hold something in your hands. It has multiple sensors, and it can break down your body weight. What is your percentage of water? What's your percentage of lean mass? What's your percentage of visceral fat? And how it's determining visceral fat from just subcutaneous fat, I don't know. And when
What's
I
the
talk
difference?
about visceral fat, visceral fat is the fat that collects around your middle and gets around your organs. And that's highly metabolically active, and it causes a lot of inflammation. So visceral fat is bad. Subcutaneous fat doesn't really, you might not like the way you look in your clothes, but the subcutaneous fat is not nearly so dangerous. So what ends up happening sometimes is people get on a fitness or program and they start working out, and then they step on the scale and they're like, shoot, I
Haven't lost
gained
any
a
weight.
pound or haven't lost any
oh,
weight.
yeah.
And that can be so discouraging that they quit, right? So I experienced that when I first started when I finally went back to the gym and started lifting some weights and strength training. Like for the first 2 months, I did not lose anything. Like that scale wouldn't move an ounce, not 1 ounce. It was infuriating. Had I not already paid for it, I would have just stopped going.
And people will tell you, oh, you're just plateauing.
Right.
What?
Exactly.
What do you
And
mean
it makes
plateauing?
you think you should eat less and move more, and that doesn't work. But when I finally did the body analysis again, what I found was that I had gained 6 pounds in muscle but lost 6 pounds in fat. So it was exactly the same on the scale. That's why. So what would have made me discouraged and want to quit was just I didn't have enough information. And I'm a data girl, if you haven't figured that out. That's why I got this, that's why I got this. Like, I like to know all the numbers. But people can get discouraged.
And I got another question. Do you see a future in walking into the doctor's office, walking up to a thing, walking through it, and, okay, I got your whole printout, I know all the things that are wrong with you, and we can fix you now, and I know all your diseases? Do you see a future in that?
Not really. Not really. It's not going to be like Dr. Bones, where he could kind of,
Yeah.
on Star Trek, where he could kind of wave the
Yeah.
monitor over you.
Okay.
It is interesting though, because I do see a future in AI probably helping with diagnosis. We already know that it's pretty good at getting to a diagnosis, and actually superior to physicians in a lot of areas, like radiology for one. It's superior to physicians in terms of diagnosing, but its decision making making on how to treat, and especially in answering patients' questions, it doesn't meet muster. Yeah.
So are all the radiologists losing their job because?
No, they aren't, but they're all afraid that they're losing their jobs. So radiology is all done pretty much electronically
Right.
now anyways, but somebody still has to sign off on it. Like, you know, AI can hallucinate in anything that you're using. AI can hallucinate and tell you, it'll come up with an answer whether it knows or not.
It'll always have a disclaimer, yep.
So, yeah, so a human does actually look at the scans, but it's all done remotely now. No more putting the film up on the light and looking at it, right? All
The
right.
good old days. Now you get it on your phone.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
you
found
sure do.
out, scan, sonogram that the guy plugged into his phone.
Yeah,
And the sonogram and
Yes.
the tissue of looking for a strained tendon.
yeah. We were using them out when I worked in Cells, which is on the Tohono O'odham Reservation, about 65 miles out of town here. Tiny, tiny little hospital with really not much equipment. They do now have an ultrasound in the ER, but we had providers plugging it, using their phone to place ultrasound guided IVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, question. I was wondering about the temperature tracking on the Oura Ring. Do any of the other wearables track your temperature, or is it just?
Ooh.
And is it even?
So I think Apple Watch can track your temperature. And the Fitbit did tell me that my skin temperature was half a degree lower than normal last night. What that ultimately means, I don't know. I mean, it's probably useful, you know, if you're trying to track your temperature because you want to know when you're ovulating, that might be useful. I don't particularly care about that anymore. That won't be happening. So, yeah, that's one thing that I don't track. But yeah, I think so. This will track your temperature, and I'm sure Apple Watch will as well. All right. Well, you all look like you're enjoying your lunch, and I'm starving. So I'm going to hand this over to Craig to bring us up to the end.
All right, good job, Diane.
For those of you who don't know, that is a professor of nursing. She's not just a nurse, she teaches and trains nurses.
She just doesn't give shots, that's all?
Right, now, what she will do if you want.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah, so we have some stabbing devices here she
Oh,
can
no.
try on you.
Sorry I mentioned it.
And you're gonna be the volunteer.
No.
All right, so, wow, it's getting to where it's almost Star Trek style stuff. And I like it, I was on the cutting edge of the Tesla coils and the frequency readings and looking at the different body tissues and what they should be, what their frequencies should be. So that is a whole other avenue of what these smart devices are going to do. Because the healthy human body frequency is about 100 megahertz, a little less. And you take a healthy person and you have them hold the scan. I've got a device that will do that. And you see they're 98. And now you hand them a cup of coffee and they're 64. The coffee frequency will pull their body that far, just holding it. When cancer starts, the frequencies we used to, 2 decades ago, we were looking at cancer starts at about 58 to 56 megahertz. So you want your body frequency to be up, and these devices affect your frequency. And your frequency affects these devices too. So It's kind of a two-edged sword. My problem was one time I was uranium toxic. Uranium, so you use that to run nuclear reactors and make bombs and stuff out of it. And I was so reactive, I go on to like a military base and they have these posts you drive between. And I drive between them and I say, oh, alarms, alarms. Guy's got something radioactive. Well, it was me. And I couldn't wear a digital watch because it would go black within 2 or 3 days. So
Wow.
my frequencies were affecting my wearables back then. And wearables have come a long way since then. And I think I can get away with watches. Oh, even a mechanical wind-up watch would die.
Wow.
I had a Benrus one time. Spent money. Really, really nice watch. You know, hopefully it's a Benrus. Come on. And within a couple months, it stopped. It was self-winding and everything. Took it back into, it wasn't Gordon's Jewelers, but whatever jewelers I bought it from. They set it off. It, well, yeah, we'll send you a new one. Gave me a new one. Within 2 or 3 months, it stopped. And I still got the watch somewhere, but it's like, just not worth it. So your body frequency will affect your wearables. And I'll be curious to see where this goes. Because the rings, smart rings, have to be detecting frequencies. Your pulse rate is a frequency. Okay, you've got a tidal flood, ebb and flow. Every 24 hours, you go from acid to alkaline. And it pumps body fluids in between your cells, carrying nutrients to your cells. And then you turn alkaline and you rest at night, and the flow goes backwards and it carries all the trash out, the garbage. So that's a frequency. That's like a 24-hour cycle. And your neural frequencies, which is something I studied really heavily, if you parse it down, your neural frequencies are so specific, it's just amazing. So frequency is a big deal. And this stuff is measuring your frequency, whether it's your heartbeat, temperature. Where's temperature come from? How fast an object vibrates. Okay? So you take a piece of steel and make it cold, it doesn't vibrate very much. And the temperature's lower. You get it hot, those molecules are jumping. So it's testing frequency, which just a little extra Lucky Strike extra, no charge for that. So, Diane said I'm a traditional naturopath. She's correct. Traditional, meaning I don't go in for the modern day medicine so much. I'm more a traditional person, and that's what I love about my relationship with Diane is she is cutting edge in the game. And I'm like, I'm Renaissance man. And so we talk, like right before here we're talking, and she said, we probably don't want to talk about that because, and I'm like, but 30 years ago, when I was being taught, my professor said, and here's another difference, she also said I'm retired. That means I'm not practicing. And if you're not practicing, your game slows down. You're not there right on the edge of everything. And she has really brought me to that point of like, wow, yeah, if I'm in a practice every day, all day, man, we'd have something going, but I'm not. So a lot of my information is old.
She keeps you up on best practices?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, well, she's good for me.
Yeah.
She's good. And
The
I
information
kind of bring
changes.
her up out of the other side of the
Yeah.
modern day medical stuff, like why would you want to do that? And there's a balance. So, we were talking about wearables, home health devices. There's blood pressure monitors. And you're talking about a ring now that can do that? I'm curious to see what the parameters are for that. I'm not knocking it. Try it. I remember we used to use these guys right here.
Yeah.
Remember these? And when the digital started coming out, one of my professors said, oh no, those are not accurate. Forget it. And she made us use these. She would not even let them into the clinic. And now, what do they use? I went to my PCP the other day, and nurse's assistant came in and put on the digital one, and that would be this one. I know Richard sent his recorded blood pressures to me, and usually it's these bragging.
Yeah, I'm doing better, a lot better. Mine actually goes to my doctor when I do my pressure at home. It goes right to his office.
No, and it's digital.
Yeah, wirelessly, you know, the wireless towers around my house. It goes right through there, right to the doctor's office.
Yeah. Interesting. So Diane, what is your take on the manual versus the digital? Just curious.
Manual is more accurate, but digital is more convenient. So if I am taking care of a patient in the hospital and their blood pressure reading from the digital or from the automatic is reading very high or very low, my first thing that I do is let me go get a manual cuff, because my ears will tell me what really is happening.
But you'll always use a manual over a digital? I mean, for an accurate, though?
So if it's, I know that the manual is accurate, I don't, but the digital's good for monitoring trends. So, but like I said, if I see something that's really high or really low, sometimes I'll just hit that button and say restart. Let's see what happens on the second time. And if it stays too high or too low, then I'm grabbing a manual and I'm checking that for myself, because that means I have to intervene, but I'm not gonna intervene off what the machine tells
While
me.
we're on blood pressure, isn't blood pressure just a kind of guideline? I mean, I can take a cup of coffee, my blood pressure completely changes,
Yeah.
you know? How can doctors really look at those and say, well, we gotta get you on pills and regimen and everything now, and just from maybe one or two, you know, meetings, next thing you know, you're on blood meds, and you didn't really need to be on them. You were in a stressed part of your life. You know, I just lost my nephew last night, so I'm probably a little stressed, you know? And my blood pressure's gonna be a little whacked out.
Right.
But what I'm just saying is, do you think it's a good, you know, doctors, I know it's just a guideline, it should be probably, right?
So,
Well, everybody's different. There's no cookie cutter.
right.
That works. And when I was first studying blood pressure, the top number, if you were above 150, you got high blood pressure. They lowered that number to 130
Really?
to save lives, quote unquote, and also to medicate more people, quote unquote. So
which
we
is
want to
it?
wrestle that pig a different
Okay.
time.
Which
That
is it,
pig
to
was
sell
nice.
drugs or to keep you healthy?
Yeah, well, also the cholesterol numbers used to be 300.
Yeah, I
What
didn't
would you
mean to
say if you saw 300 now, Diane?
I've hardly seen 300 ever, but yeah, I mean, somebody with 300 would be recommended to be on a statin for sure.
Yeah.
But 200, if you're below 200 in my world, from the old days, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion. Now, then you gotta parse out your
I didn't mean to go off of wearables.
LDLs, you're very low, and you're,
Okay.
and now you gotta figure out what's going on. Then you gotta look at your diet. So if we take Richard, it's just not that simple. Because we look at your diet, we look at your BMI, we look at your visceral fat.
Well, look at Tom, for example, Tom here. I mean, Tom is well over 300 pounds, right? And he's got his blood pressure under control.
Yeah.
And to affirm what you're saying, like hypertension should not be diagnosed on 1 or 2 blood pressures. It really should be diagnosed with at least 3 different times, and you're exactly right that different things impact it. So we try to make sure that somebody's been sitting for 5 minutes, that their feet are both on the floor, that we're measuring the blood pressure at the level of the heart. So all of those things can change it, so.
You got your
you're
white
right.
coat hanging in the other room.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
In the naturopathic world, you used to have the patient lie down and for about 5 minutes, just lie down, nice quiet room, and then you take their blood pressure and you look at it, record it, and then you have them stand up and you take it again immediately. And what should happen is your blood pressure should go up because you stood up. But some patients who had different medical conditions, they would stand up and the blood pressure would drop.
So
And that was the diagnostic tool we used.
a lot of the times when I'm sitting down, I'll be in my house watching TV and I'll stand up. And I have to put my hand on the couch because I get dizzy.
Well, your blood pressure is probably
So
dropping.
is that unusual or
Yeah, that's not normal. So,
does it all
and
the time?
I'm not gonna diagnose you on YouTube here, because that's gonna cause some troubles, but
When we get older, Craig, should we aim for 120/80? I mean, when we're like 60 years old?
that's pretty stellar, but the older you get, the crispier you get. And it takes a little bit more pressure to get that blood to the nether regions of your brain. So it's not unusual for your blood pressure to creep up little by little. But if somebody in the clinic and they're $180 over 125, we got a problem now. They need something now. And I don't care if you're a naturopath and whether or not you have prescriptive rights, you have to do something now so they don't stroke. You are responsible. But anyway,
Just one more phenomena. You can sit and breathe in and out deep for 5 minutes and lower your blood pressure 15
Right.
points.
yeah.
And lower it 15 points, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that is,
easy.
why does that happen?
Oh, you're sending a chemical called relaxin into your body and everything's smoothing out and you're not thinking about dodging traffic and slapping bullets down
You're
out
relaxing,
there.
okay.
And you go in neutral. It's a really great place. It's a good place to go, especially before you study the Bible or before you go into a meeting with Mark Rabinovich. You want to be good and calm. And the best news comes over peaceful waters. God communicates really wonderful to me over peaceful waters. Now, when I'm in the crunch and the bullets are flying, slap them down, God can still work. But man, when you get peaceful with God and you have a conversation, and your blood pressure's going to go. When you're on edge all the time, your blood pressure's really, yep, you're at the ready. Your adrenaline's high. Adrenaline brings blood pressure with it. So,
So, I have a question.
yes,
What are your thoughts about nitric oxide and aged garlic for blood pressure, reducing blood pressure?
nitric oxide, that's,
You actually, when Richard is describing that deep breathing, that creates a release of nitric oxide, and that's why it brings it down. So nitric oxide does work. I've never seen a supplement for it other than like an inhaled nitric oxide that we've used sometimes with, is there? Okay.
There is, and I was running it by my PCP, and she came back with some numbers for me that were sort of marginal. But then I read more and further, and it just seemed like it had a really good effect at relaxing the blood vessels.
Yeah,
That's what we use it for in the
it's a
hospital.
vasodilator.
And is it the same as nitro?
No, nitroglycerin is different.
Yeah, yeah,
They both dilate out vessels, but completely different.
Okay.
completely different purpose.
And the aged garlic, that's, I mean, sounded really promising too, because I would like to get off of
I've read some really good things about garlic.
blood pressure meds. But it has to be appropriately aged, 24 months at least.
That's a good vasodilator. It's also anti-parasitic,
Oh, yeah.
very, very good for that. It helps keep hairy-legged boys away from your teenage daughters. That's good for that. Yeah, garlic's awesome. Some of God's remedies are just amazing. So, all right. Blood pressure monitors, they cost, and we both looked these up, I think, on Amazon, when we was going through the notes, $40 to $120. And this one is probably your $40 unit. It's my home unit. So I use this on my mother-in-law, my wife, myself occasionally. I seemingly never have blood pressure troubles. When I go to the PCP and they're going like, whoa, 114 over 72, let me touch you, you know. So. But I'm always that way, but I'm kind of a relaxed guy. And also, when I go into that office, I'm like, I'm just going to be chill. Because some people get the white coat syndrome. And Diane shows up, and their BP goes up 100, and it goes up 30 points just because she's there with her nurse's scrubs on. And
My
that
blood
can
pressure
happen
goes up
too.
with the doctors, in the doctor's office
It's
too.
what?
My blood pressure even goes up in the doctor's office.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's PTSD.
It's kind of, sometimes it's that flight or fight instinct.
Right?
Yeah, you might need to flee for your life here, so you just, hopefully not. Because there's some really great doctors. So Diane, I got one brother's a medical emergency ER doc with some doc in the boxes, and another one is and then I'm the oddball who did the naturopathic stuff. So, we're gonna follow these in line, they're not necessarily in a special order. The next thing is an EKG. That's checking frequency. Right? How often is your heart beating and what pattern is it beating in? And I used to have the old paper tape EKG. Remember those? Whoa. And you look them up and it's all fancy and people were going like impressed. Because they came to a medical clinic, they're paying money, they get to watch the needle bouncing, and it's really effective. And now you put two fingers on a little device, or you wear your wearables, and your wearable says, we got some regulation going on, we need to, it can warn you, it can alert you. That's a good thing, but it's not always a panic thing either. Because you might find that when you drink coffee, your heart gets a little womp in it. If you care to find out. If you've got that womp going, and your Fitbit or whatever's showing it, or your doctor's office is saying, hey, yeah, we did your EKG, and say, can we try it after a week without caffeine? Right? Or maybe it's sugar. Chocolate with certain sugars or artificial flavors and colorings. Horrible for your heart rate, for your EKG. So, if you have something going on with your heart, what is causing it? Right? So you can treat it with medication, or you can say, okay, something's wrong. And you put on the sleuth hat, And, you start asking questions. I was having, this is very real, very, very new, is I've been having, sleep terrors.
Sleep tears?
Sleep terrors
Oh.
and sleep, paralysis. And it's horrible. And I thought it's PTSD from riding around in steel tubes under the waves or something. But I didn't give up. I kept trying this for a year. I've been looking, and I got these wearables. Some of these wearables we're going to cover. I use those as diagnostic tools to find out. I'm not supposed to have sleep terrors. I'm not supposed to have sleep paralysis. Why am I holding my breath? And I would hold my breath till my oxygen would drop down in the 50s. That's a big problem.
Yeah, big problem.
Why? Why am I holding my breath? So I cut off any and all sugar, period. Well, that wasn't it. Okay, all grains, all this. Okay, well, let's try getting off of all meats. Let's try changing the bath soap and the dish soap. And I did not give up. And then a few weeks ago, when I was driving my wife over to East Texas for one of our grandbabies to be born, and I thought, I'm just not going to take my deodorant. And it's a natural deodorant I've been using for 40 years, made with potassium alum, and it's the crystal rock stuff. And within 2 nights, I'm breathing almost normal at night. I'm like, wow.
Was that it? That was it, huh?
That was it. That was it. The night, everything in my night problems has basically stopped. That doesn't mean I don't have a bad dream, but I'm not swimming underwater 100 feet without scuba gear, holding my breath, and can't make it to the surface. And, I mean, it's that bad of stuff.
Wow.
And that's what they treat you at the VA for PTSD and stuff like that. I had people come to my clinic with this PTSD.
I always heard it was the aluminum that was in the underarm deodorants.
Well, potassium alum, guess what alum is? It's a natural form of powdered aluminum.
Okay.
And so I got on Google and immediately said, okay, side effects of crystal rock deodorant, whatever the name brand was. It says, may cause breathing issues requiring medical treatment.
Jesus.
Emergency medical treatment. I'm like, but this is the all natural.
That's where I was leaving here today to go to Kohl's to get the most powerful Mitchum underarm deodorant, Mitchum. It's the best, I mean, you know, deodorant you can buy, but it's the highest level of aluminum in it.
Oh, no, really?
So I think I may change my mind today.
Yeah, change your mind today.
Yeah.
Use essential oils. They make some really good essential oils.
Okay.
I try to go without it, but my wife says I shouldn't, so.
Yeah. Essential oils, like you got any recommendations? Essential oil? What kind of essential oil?
Oh gosh, I should have brought it with me.
No, don't worry. I'll
So
write
what's
that.
an unessential oil?
Yeah, they sell them at Sprouts and some.
Okay. I'll ask the
Yeah,
department manager.
but they'll say, no aluminum.
Since you don't eat meat, you don't really need a deodorant.
What?
Since you don't eat meat, because
Oh.
when you eat a lot of meat, it produces.
That can be true. That can be very true. Right,
Yeah,
so-
but what type of meat do you eat?
Well, I eat grass-fed lamb,
Grass-fed.
lots
I
of
do that.
grass-fed lamb. And I eat healthy meat, supposedly the healthy animals, feeding sick animals, trying to get a healthy human out of it.
That doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work, but the other thing is if you've got a body odor, it's your body's trying to get rid of stuff. And when you're putting the alum on there, alum causes the sweat glands to go, they pucker up. and they can't give off their toxins, and they migrate to the lungs, and they migrate to the pancreas and cause blood sugar problems. That was part of my thing too, is my blood sugar's going all nuts.
How come my doctors never told me to change my deodorant?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I didn't tell you to change it, did I?
Yeah, I go in there smelling good, I mean, you know.
When I met you 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I should have told you,
Yep.
well, get off your deodorant.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get off that, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, get a good natural and see what changes.
Don't use any deodorant. You
Yeah.
have to use it.
I
Yeah, but
know.
he's an Uber driver,
Yeah.
Oh.
How about Arm and
Okay.
Hammer bacon
okay,
sausage?
thanks, yeah, I need you to get it,
Can't.
I actually need that. So, EKG devices, you can get personal EKG devices now. Personal, plug them into your phone. Why not? It can, I think that Fitbits are actually
This does it.
EKG compatible.
Yeah, the iWatch does it too.
Yeah. And they can show things, they can tell problems. Home and personal use or consumer electronics. So they're not licensed medical devices. You cannot technically medically diagnose with those. But you can say, hey, Diane, I've got a problem. My EKG keeps going off. And she said, well, let's get you into a specialist here and let's get you on a medical quality EKG.
Diane, I'm sure you can read an EKG, right? All the waves and everything, all the different ones, okay. That's such a fascinating thing. That is incredible, yeah.
All right. In no particular order, we have an incentive barometer.
I know. Suck in
You
and
know
pick
what
on
that
the
is?
top.
You've had to use this?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
More
so
than
how-
once.
How do you use it?
Huh?
How do you use it?
You use it?
No, how do you use it?
Oh, how do I use it?
What did they tell you to
Well,
do?
well, a doctor likes to see you get to a certain level. In that machine, you breathe into the end part, and that little yellow thing goes up. And they want you to get to a certain number, and then down. It's basically testing your lung, like the strength of your lungs, you know?
Yeah, now this is my personal, so I'm not gonna have you
Okay, great, yeah.
use it, but yeah, it has good, better, and best. As far as where you wanna hold that, and you wanna hold it.
And hold it,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's hard when your lung capacity is compromised.
Yes.
And these are, under $30 on Amazon. It's just good practice. You wanna practice breathing,
Or go to the hospital and get sick, and they'll give you one for free.
so.
Sure,
Stephen,
it's free.
come in and grab a lunch there, Stephen. And these are just good to have in general.
Yeah.
But do you have asthma?
No, no. That was just because I was compromised with I think my heart. I was
Okay.
having heart issues, and they just wanted me to, because, I mean, when you have heart issues, you have breathing issues, you know? And they just, they can tell if you're getting better breathing, your
Right.
heart's getting better too.
I mean, I don't think there's any harm in buying one of these on Amazon. But if you have real lung issues, you need a real lung expert. And I am not a pulmonologist.
No.
I can't even say it, so. Pulse oximeter. Ooh,
I love mine. I got one.
yeah. Want you to turn it on, pass it around, try them out.
I have one of those. That's
Oh, is it working, Craig? Is it working?
Yeah, this should
Oh, okay,
work.
good. I see, I'm getting 97
So it's
on me,
gonna
right?
check your,
My finger's out, it tells me. So I put my finger in, I'm hoping 97.
and they use this at the medical clinic when they're checking you in.
94, that's not bad.
What's the other one?
80, my heart rate, 80, yeah.
So this will tell you what your oxygen is
Yeah, because I'm very
right
low.
now.
Right now, yeah.
So if you are
We know what
89
yours
right
is.
now,
Probably 94, 95.
you need to
94,
start,
okay. Same as me.
70, 68,
what is yours?
94.
and
Or-
68.
94, 95 is excellent, that's
Yeah.
good. I mean, 98 is
68.
excellent.
That marks right. Yeah, Mark.
I test mine every day.
And these cost 20 to 50 bucks.
Anybody reads a 60, we're calling 911.
But this guy is a wearable. This is what I use to quote unquote diagnose myself with. And you can get a prescription, value for one of these, or this is just the well, this was $250.
Yeah.
And it tells you what your oxygen is. Right now it says 85, but it's just cranking up. Breathe to get it up here. And it's heart's beating, but see, I wore this all night, so it says I'm 96 with a pulse rate of 64. That's not too bad.
Oxygenated blood is very important, Diane, right?
Okay, so on the corners of there's these graphs. And the second graph, third graph is, this is the oxygen level reports
Oh, here we go. Maybe this
from
one.
this machine to my cell phone and I printed. So you can see with oxygen. So I also have an oxygen generator, which not everybody has. And if you're gonna get your insurance to pay for it, you have to have a prescription. Because you can't just go putting oxygen on. I don't recommend it. So get some good advice, but with oxygen, look at here. That's pretty normal. That's actually pretty nice. If you see that graph at the top, oxygen level, when I first put it on, I was 90, bouncing around 92 to 94.6, and then through the night was pretty good. But look at that other oxygen level report without O2.
Mm. You were dropping down in
And you see those dips
80s,
into the 80s,
70,
sometimes into
78.
the 70s. But this also has an alarm. So I've got it set for 84. So if I stop breathing at night, and it's not even apnea, it's something even more complicated. I had to do a lot with aluminum because this stuff stopped. These really heavy dips.
Maybe all those different levels of sleep you were talking about too, REM and light sleep, maybe those all affect oxygen levels too, maybe. Maybe, I don't know.
But if you wear one of these, it will alert you, it will wake you up to how you're sleeping, or wear it during the day, and you will see. And all of a sudden after lunch, your oxygen dips to 89 and stays there for 2 or 3 hours because of that flan that you had along with everything else.
So oxygen gets in our blood by breathing, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't maintain a level, like, okay, it's 80, it's gonna stay 80 until something dramatic happens. You just have to keep,
No, it
it's a
goes up
breathing
and down
thing. Okay.
as you breathe, and just walking into a room with lower oxygen levels.
So people with COPD may have lower oxygen,
Absolutely.
oxygen levels?
Right. Chronic obsessive
Yeah.
pulmonary. What's that?
Obstructive
Obstructive, what? Obstructive is.
pulmonary disease.
All right, so.
People with COPD do have obsessive.
Well,
You
even,
can't
Obsessive,
get
yeah.
obsessive about
Diane,
that.
even asthma,
Well, actually,
Diane?
we're coming to that here. in a minute.
Asthma, if you have asthma, could that affect your oxygen levels?
Anything that impacts your lungs can
Wow,
ultimately impact your.
man, yeah, okay.
I have 3 or 4 people just from this church wearing these, and they're like, wow, I didn't have a clue. So this is excellent. I highly recommend them. But don't do it for self-diagnosis. But if you see you've got these dips, then go get a sleep study. You've got these dips, see a pulmonologist. First learn how to say it. So, and that's the graph you print up. This is a record. I have these records. And you can see when I was in trouble, and you can see when it's, wow.
Do you have an oxygen tank at home?
I do, but not something I use. I've got a oxygen concentrator,
Okay,
which I bought during COVID because
yeah,
of other things.
okay.
But Anyway, she has to take a prescription. So you can't just go get a bunch of oxygen. There's too much oxygen. If you get too much, you get too high. Who's that sung that?
Sweet.
That was a song in the
That was the name
70s.
of the band, Sweet.
Yeah. Okay,
I remember.
next thing is we got the smart scales, which Diane covered, talked about. She said more than I do. I don't have a smart scale. I'm not even sure what one looks like, and she's given a description, and then you guys, so,
Yeah, I got one and it's called, Guru something, and, you know, the app, and it hooks right up to the, you know, it's wireless and everything. After I stand on the scale, it goes right to my phone and gives me a nice little graph and everything. I can see it. And, I just don't know, like Steve was saying, I mean, how does it know the water weight in you?
It's because of the electrical impedance after, when you stand on it,
Yeah.
and it's especially the ones that also have something that you can hold on to.
Yeah,
It checks, it's the electrical impedance.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, that makes sense. That's something I did not know. All right, glucose meters.
all right, here we go.
Ooh.
It's a big one.
Yeah, so this was also part of my, self-discovery, diagnosing, figuring out why I was having these, sleep, has anybody here experienced sleep paralysis?
What is that? I mean, is that when you, it's not when you cramp
Oh,
up, is
Knock
it?
on wood, I don't want to.
Well, just as she's speaking or something, no, just kidding.
That's not when you cramp up, is it?
No,
Okay.
that's when I'm awake and I am paralyzed and I'm trying to scream to my wife to get me, to move me to, I'm like, and I can't scream. It's like, and I'm just barely groaning, but
Wow.
I'm screaming at the top of my voice.
That's
It's
very common,
horrible.
yeah, very common, right? I mean, that's, I've heard of it a lot, though.
Have you?
Shouldn't-
Yeah,
I haven't, I've not seen that much.
well, especially in the spiritual world, you know, I think something spiritually is tied to that.
Yeah. Well, you would think it'd be PTSD, but it was aluminum.
Jesus.
It was aluminum causing it, but that aluminum also affects the pancreas. What does your pancreas do?
Oh, man.
Well, among things, it does your blood sugar, puts insulin out, and my blood sugar was all over this place. I'm like, who would think I'd be pre-diabetic? Right? Who would think I'd be diabetic? No, I wasn't diabetic, but I was pre-diabetic. I could eat something and my blood sugar would go, wee, up in the 240s sometimes. And then it would go, down in the 50s. So, huge swings, hyper insulinism. When the insulin did get out there, it was too much. And what would happen is, at night, my blood sugar would drop in the 50s. And the reason I know that is because I put on a monitor. Now, I'm wearing this for your sakes. I quit wearing them.
The 50s, that's dangerous.
With that,
50s is dangerous.
that's
Oh,
seizure
yeah,
level.
yeah.
And so this is a printout. And this was like a couple days after I quit using the aluminum underarm deodorant. And you see there's these dotted lines?
Yep.
You're supposed to stay in that. That's supposed to be normal. All right, and I was still taking probably 153 right there, which is pre-diabetic. But it didn't stay up there. But where before, it could stay up there for 2 or 3 hours.
Is that with medication there or without?
That was after I quit the powdered aluminum 2 days after.
No, I mean diabetic medication.
I did no diabetic,
Okay,
right, no glucophage, no
okay.
nothing. But I also found out if I ate sushi, then it went way up still,
That rice,
but it comes down, but it doesn't go too low now. So it'll go up in the, maybe it was 150 or something. I put this on so I could try these things out.
yeah, I liked it. I tried it too, and I loved it.
And I ate potato chips,
Yeah.
and I was tapping 170.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but they're all natural. They're made with they're the organic, they're the good stuff. And it just, now, it didn't stay up there, but that's just too high. So I know, like, okay, if I'm gonna eat potato chips, I'm gonna eat 2. Because you can't eat just 2.
Can't eat just two.
Well, good luck. So you wanna be right in the middle. So it's on my phone, my phone's recording right now, but you could see what lunch did to me, and we can look at it after we're done. But I ate a big breakfast, I ate a whole bunch of wonderful stuff, including some, lots of berries with chia, with coconut milk and stuff like that. So really high, basically, and granola, which a few weeks ago, before I discovered the problem with the deodorant, I had to give up my granola because it would send me to 190.
Really?
And I've been eating it the last 3 mornings, not a big amount, maybe half a cup, or I would do 3/4 of a cup before. And I have not yet topped 130 after breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I get back down to 104, drift back down in the 90s for lunch. So
Time and range.
these are great. Now, you can get them without a prescription on Amazon. This is the one I've got, Lingo, and they give you an applicator, spring-loaded, and you stick it on there, you hit the spring.
Oh, you can get those without a prescription?
You can get these without a prescription, but let me, some caveats on that. Now, I'm very active. I dig trenches, I do my own electrical, I build concrete slabs, I get Keith to help me all the time when his, what's that factor, right?
Yeah, my readiness factor.
Yeah. And I'm tough, I knock these things off because I'm just too active. So I put one of those clear, well, we use them for IVs when we did IV sticks, and I forget what they call them.
Tegaderm.
The what?
Tegaderm.
Tegaderm, yeah.
Tegaderm.
Tegaderm. And it's the clear ones, that's because I wanted clear. And, well, no, because I had clear, and that helps anchor it. They're waterproof already, but I recommend them now. So I went to my PCP and I showed her all this, and she's kind of like, wow, and the blood oxygen and all this, and she said, really, that was your deodorant? So she's on an adventure with me. And she's one of these that really cares, and she's like, waiting for the next plot twist.
What's her name?
And she said, what's her name? Crystal Garza, spelled with a CH, Crystal Garza. Anyway, and she's off of Valero. She's kind of south side. She's worked the trip. And you can just tell her, Craig, and she said, oh, okay. But she said, I'll write a prescription for that. And this is Abbott. Abbott makes this. She wrote an Abbott prescription. I went to Walgreens. And they said, okay, for a 3-month supply, your copay is $360. And I'm like, what? They're $50 each on Amazon without a prescription.
How long do they last, Greg?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So I need $100 a month, or if I want the insurance to pay for it, it only costs me $120 a month.
One.
But this will change how you think about what you eat.
Guaranteed.
You say you go.
Guaranteed, yeah.
How does it work? I'm sorry.
With that?
How does it work?
Well, it transmits to your phone.
Oh.
Is it under your
has-
skin though?
Yeah, it has a tiny little needle
like just a couple millimeters.
Yeah,
So
it's
you,
kind
once
of-
it's in, you don't even feel it, but it's
hurts.
constantly, it samples your blood, or it samples the
Interstitial.
interstitial fluid, so the fluid that's between your cells,
Oh,
and analyzes that every
And
couple
it's-
minutes.
It's awesome, and I put it with the finger stick, the glucose tester right here,
Yeah,
and it's right on.
well, that's what I wanted to mention. That's something I struggled with. I had the Libre 3, and, you know, and I also had regular meters, and I got really frustrated with the variances. And, I mean, I read up on it, and, you know, I would see 50 point, you know, 173, 123, and I'd be like, wait a minute, you know? I see, and then, you know, it was right for quite a while, and then it got off. But in general, like he says, it's an incredible way to see how you're eating. I went to Panda Express and ate that rice and broccoli,
Oh, yeah, what did
and
that
man,
do?
woo, you know, it just went
So
skyrocketing.
what did you learn?
I learned not to go eat the rice and broccoli. You know?
Keep the broccoli, lose the rice.
Yeah.
Leave the rice next time.
But it's good, it really identifies foods for your, you know, your normal foods you eat all the time. You know, you can see, wow, a glass of milk, you know, does this, or, and then I mentioned that TIR, time in range. That's what the doctors like to see, those arrows you mentioned, you
Yeah,
know.
the dotted
If you
lines.
can stay within that area, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fascinating device, I love it.
I highly recommend this. Even if you're skinny, you need to know how
I
your
didn't know you
food is
could get one
affecting
without a
you.
prescription.
But see, this was affecting my sleep. And I wouldn't have known without
Oh, yeah.
this, man.
If those fall off, can you re-put them on, or do you have to just get a brand new one?
They peel off real easy when they die. Your phone warns you, you've got 24 hours left, and you go like, oh.
Yeah, your phone will tell you when.
but if it accidentally pops off, if you bust
Oh,
it,
I knock them off just because
you put it
I,
back in?
nope. You
No,
cannot.
you gotta
It's
put
too
another
soft
one.
of a needle. It's, and it's really, when you peel it off and you flip the needle around, it's like a piece of fiber, which it's hard when it goes in, but then it soaks up. Takes about an hour to get the moisture soaked, and then it softens up and it becomes one with your tissues.
Okay, so I have a real quick question, and I think you said it, but I missed it. So the difference between the two was your deodorant. Is that what you mean?
Yes,
That you stopped using?
stop
deodorant.
using the deodorant, and my hyperinsulinism stopped. And through the night, I'm in the 83, 86, steady.
That's not your age though.
What's that?
Our age needs to do that at night, you know, 70s and 80s.
Yeah, but, yeah, no more sleep paralysis. I'm not
Amen, brother, yeah.
holding my breath. I'm not in an emergency flood situation where, because I did a lot of, I used to be a certified diver and stuff like that. So, yeah, it could be called PTSD or it could be called your stupid deodorant.
While we're on glucose, Mike, I got a question about the HbA1c monitor.
Okay, that's your long.
Yeah, that's a 3-monther, and I'm wondering how accurate those are. I've never done them, but I know they're like for $100 you can go buy a kit or something, maybe cheaper.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard of a home test for that.
Oh yeah, you can buy them at Walgreens and stuff, you can buy the HbA1c test. I think it's $59 to $100. And you know, you do your test and I think you get results back like within 5 minutes or something.
Well, it tells you what your last 2 months
2-3 months have been, right?
average has been.
Right.
And if you're watching it, then you can see, yeah, I was pre-diabetic and, oh, look, my A1C is getting better. That means to lower that average means you've got to be lower than that average.
Right. They do it in percentages, right? When I had that little Caesar thing I had, I was 12.5, which is, my sister says she'd never seen a number like that, you know?
That's really low.
Yeah, 12.5 is
Not for
extremely
the
high.
hemoglobin A1C. That's
Yeah.
it's very high for hemoglobin A1C.
Yeah, I was probably
That
600
wasn't
or,
this A1C?
Yeah, he said it was his A1C that was
Yeah.
over 12, which is
Oh.
that's very high,
Very
not very
high.
low.
Well, my A1C is about 5.3.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful, yeah.
pretty cool, pretty good. Yeah, probably need to do a little more exercise and, better. and-
Cause I tell you,
How
that
many
poking,
nutrition?
you know, when I was
No,
poking,
yeah,
that's such a
yeah.
monotonous thing to do, it really is. My nephew's whole arm was bruised and everything, you know.
Well, these are $50, even if you just do it for 2 weeks, it will change how you view food. I did not know that while I was using deodorant that granola to go up in the diabetes range. And as soon as I found that out,
You may,
I quit it, just like you and your
yeah,
broccoli and rice. Don't ever do that again.
I know.
And
You know, I mean, you just know.
it's a tool.
Right,
It's an incredible tool.
yeah.
Awesome tool. I recommend it. $50. You know, if you can afford 100 a month,
Yeah, while we're on that, Craig, too, my sister did indicate that stress can affect that too, that glucose thing. I mean, you'll see a big spike, you're like, I didn't eat nothing. Well, that's when you were fighting with your husband, you know? So, you know,
so we got benefits of this tracking. Psychological benefits, increased awareness. That's benefit all across the board. Increased awareness. If you know that the creamer in your coffee is causing you to go to 150 on your blood sugar, that's not horrible, but that's not good. Then you know you need to switch creamers, get a natural one, or stop. Now you know. So increased awareness. Behavior change support. Every time I eat that grandma's apple cobbler from down at the restaurant, it's going to cause you to change your behavior. He cannot eat broccoli and rice anymore because I will spank that naughty hand. And it gives you motivation.
yeah, it does.
Motivation. Well, my motivation was, I don't want these sleep terrors. That was my motivation. They stink. Confidence and decision making. Man, I got this. And I can monitor, I can see, I can actually eat a small handful of potato chips and if I'm eating lunch. But I can't eat them full size, but and it gives me confidence to know this.
I was truly on the seafood diet, everything you see, you eat. And I truly was on it. And now you can make a decision, yeah.
And this gives you confidence in your decision making. However, you can make yourself crazy with this. Because now I'm looking at my oxygen every single day. I still have the alarm. I don't wear it every night, but when I do, and I get alarm at 86, it's like, whoa, that's,
Yep.
you know, that's still too low, but it's not panic city. Okay, and it's something I need to, okay, I'm aware now, let me think. What did I do during the day? But you can't let it run your life, can't get anxious over it. Oh, my blood sugar is gonna go up. Well, no, use this with confidence. Because you will make yourself nuts. Because I'm going like, my problem when I first got this is I didn't have any normal graphs to go by. And I'm like, these dips, that's gotta be apnea, it's gotta be, and I actually went to see a sleep specialist. He said, oh, that's fairly normal, look, your percentage of your threshold is, and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, but this is, and I've got these other, and he's saying, relax. I mean, he was coming after me on that a little too much, but it was causing I was being too, so get alert, start to change.
It's 1:30, so we gotta bring it across the line.
Okay,
You start dreaming about nutrition later.
and you can't have perfect numbers. Nobody here, except Bev, will ever have perfect numbers. Privacy concerns, I'm not too worried about privacy.
Well, I was gonna mention, because that thing you put on the back of your arm, you know, some people don't like it being exposed so other people can see it. I think you can even put it on your thighs, right?
Well, you wanna put it where it's not gonna get a bunch of abuse.
Okay.
They recommend back of the
Back,
arms.
yeah, okay.
So I've tried both arms, but
There are covers that you
Even,
can buy.
even the tummy, I think you can put it on.
Yeah, if it's not gonna be in your waistband and get
Yeah,
it
yeah,
knocked
right.
off.
But I recommend, these are cheap, these bandage covers. And it just gives me the reassurance, I'm gonna get my full value. Because if I bump it off, they're not giving me a new one. If it dies while it's protected, and that happened to me one time, they sent me a new one. So, hypervigilance, comparison to others, oh, but look at Diane's, and I got, that's my goal, and it's like, and nobody can achieve what Bev does. So use them wisely, get your goal. My goal was pretty obvious. I want to be able to sleep good. I don't want paralysis. I don't want to be screaming at the top of my lungs and I'm not even, I can't even move. Yeah, it's just horrible. Set boundaries for checking the data. Just be reasonable. Get some good counsel. You know, if you know Richard, get with Richard. Say, well, how'd it work out for you? If you know me, you got my, you get my cell phone number off our sign-in sheet, and you can text me. You can emails on there. Get with Keith even. He knows some of this stuff. So set boundaries and get counsel. Track trends. Not a single reading. And take breaks from tracking, which I kind of like because I took about a month break.
I think that's what I'm doing right now, is just, you know, backing off a little bit. But, you know, it is so interesting once you get in there and you start seeing the truth. You know, it's like, man, I gotta do something, you know?
All right, somebody read our scripture at the bottom. Keith, you want to do that?
Sure. At the bottom it says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." Isaiah 26:3.
So, be calm. Everything's fine. Take it to God, first and foremost. So now we need someone to close us with prayer. How about Mark? Can you give us a, not in Hebrew this time, give us something in English?
Thank you, Father God, for what we learned today, just to help us to apply it to our lives throughout this week, and throughout the rest of the month, and just for us to use you for our lives and just keep you first in our lives. We just thank you for this time. We just thank you that you're here with us and your Lord and Savior of our lives. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So, if you like,
Good job.
when you leave, if you don't mind taking your chair and hanging it on that, or at least put it over there, that'll help.
All right,
You
Steve.
gotta break the room.
See. Yeah, man.
All right, and if you're interested, our topic for next month will be